Okay, so in today's video I'm going to take you through 3 simple steps on how to lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time. So you can take you from here to here. This is how I've done it, and this is what I do with all my clients on my Shred and 8 program. So there's a couple of different options when it comes to building muscle and burning body fat. So you have the traditional, which most people do, they go from a bulk to a cut, or you go from a cut to a bulk. But could you do both at the same time? That's the question. Reality, yes. So this can be done, and it will work best for certain individuals. So certain individuals this will work best using these 3 strategies with are newbies, so people completely new to training. So you haven't done any weight training before, you're not used to resistance training, haven't lifted it before. This will work phenomenally well for you. Secondly, we have people coming back from injuries. So if you've had some time off from the gym, from coronavirus, or an elbow injury, a back injury, and you're coming back into training, you can recomp really quickly, where we're talking about burning body fat and gaining muscle at the same time. And lastly, we have the people who are super inconsistent with their training and probably their nutrition as well. So they probably go to the gym a little bit here and there, they have no real idea what they're doing, no structure, and as soon as you give these guys structure and they're consistent with it, you'll get killer results. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take you through 3 steps of how to burn body fat and build muscle at the same time, so you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get optimal results. Okay, so step number 1 in terms of burning body fat and building muscle at the same time is nutrition. So by the law of thermodynamics, we need to be in a calorie deficit to burn body fat. Now this has a negative impact when it comes to building muscle, because there's a negative impact on protein synthesis. However, as we said with the individuals mentioned earlier, in terms of people new to training, coming back from injury, or people not training properly or inconsistently, this is almost out the window and it will restart for them pretty much from there. In this regard, the big key thing we need to focus on here is to make sure you're in a calorie deficit. How much of a deficit completely depends on how much body fat you have, how advanced you are, what sort of stage you are in terms of your training and your development. For most people, if you're relatively lean already, I would suggest a smaller calorie deficit, say around 5% of your total daily calorie intake. If you've got more body fat to lose, you can have a bigger calorie deficit, up to say 20%. So what we're looking at here in terms, for example, would be if you were eating 2,000 calories today, as an example, to maintain your body weight, which is something I try and work out for everyone. How many calories per day do you need to eat to maintain your body weight? The best way to go about this is there's calorie calculators all over the place online. However, I suggest you set set calories of say 2,000, for example, for a week, and then see what happens. If your body weight stays consistent and nothing happens, that is pretty much maintenance for you. Now, if we want to try and find a deficit of say 20%, because you have a lot of body fat to lose, what I would suggest we do is we use a combination of exercise and then also calorie deficit in terms of calorie reduction in terms of food coming in. So we want to create, say, a 20% calorie reduction. We take 20% of 2,000, which would be 400 calories. So we burn an extra 200 calories a day from burning body fat in terms of exercising, weight training, cardio, doing steps, and then we took 200 calories from reducing our food slightly. That will elicit a calorie deficit for us to be able to burn body fat, but then also have a combination of enough food to recover and build muscle tissue at the same time. Now the key macronutrient we need when we're looking to build muscle tissue is protein. The amount of protein you need is dependent on your size and your body weight, and what I'd recommend for everyone as a bare minimum is 1 gram per pound of body weight is generally optimal as a baseline. Protein is the key driver in terms of recovery. Essentially it's a combination of amino acids, which are the building blocks to build muscle tissue. So we need to have that protein in there to have the recovery capabilities whilst in the calorie deficit to build muscle. The big thing here is to make sure that this protein is also around the workout window. So you want it pre-workout and post-workout. This is really essential. In terms of splitting up the food throughout the day with protein, I wouldn't just have all your protein in 2 meals, for example. You want to try and split these up fairly evenly, say at least 4 to 5 meals a day, because this will give a consistent level of protein coming into your body for recovery throughout the day to enable recovery, muscle growth, and then also fat loss. Protein can also be converted to be used as fuel via a process called glucogenesis. So we want to try and have our protein slightly higher than carbohydrates, because our body can actually convert that to fuel as energy when actually required, which obviously is the whole point and process of this. So excess protein necessarily won't be stored as body fat, but can be converted into energy when required when we're in a calorie deficit. So that is point number 1, is to make sure your nutrition is on point, your food is on point to get the results you're looking for. Point number 2 is changing your training up. So this is a big mistake a lot of people do, is they do the same training process all the time. So for most people, when they're looking to try and build muscle and burn body fat at the same time, there's a couple of key different splits I'd suggest. And these are generally training bigger muscle groups frequently. So in particular, if you're new to training, I would try something like a full body split, where you're training, say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as a starting point, training every body part, maybe doing 2 sets per body part, and then you can do that over the week. So this will create a high amount of frequency where you can train a body part a lot without completely destroying it. And it also stops you having the point where you dig such a big recovery hole that you can't get out of it. And recovery is the key to building muscle, and the key to burning fat is being in a calorie deficit. If we do these two together, then we can create our end goal that we're looking for. Once you've done, say, for example, a full body split initially, then what we can do is you can move into, say, like an upper-lower split, where, for example, on a Monday, you would do an upper body session, Tuesday would do a lower body session, Wednesday you take off and do some cardio, Thursday you do upper body, Friday you do a lower body, and then rest, say, for the weekend. That would be the next progression upwards from there. And then thirdly, the last progression I'd suggest for people when they're going for a transformation phase is maybe going to something like a push-pull leg split, where you can do push, for example, which would be chest, shoulders, triceps, so everything in the pushing motion, the plane. Pull would be something like back and biceps, and then legs is obviously lower body. So those would be the 3 ways I'd periodize people through a transformation process to burn body fat and build muscle, depending on how advanced they are. Changing your training up has a big change in terms of the stimulus to your body. In particular, if you're doing the same bro body part split, where most guys do, they go chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, your body gets used to that shit very quickly. So I'd really ensure that you change your variety of your training if you're not getting progress currently. Step number 3 is going to be nutrient timing. So the key to improving your physique, burning body fat, and building muscle at the same time is putting fuel into your body when it's actually going to utilize its best. How does that look practically? So we want protein and carbohydrates around the workout, so pre-workout and post-workout. Before training, what I'd suggest is you have your protein and carbohydrates around 90 minutes before training, something that's easily digestible, something like, for example, a whey protein and something like a ground rice, or something that's easily going to be digested by your stomach. Intra-workout, I'd recommend using a carbohydrate product with an essential amino acid product to make sure your body is fueled with nutrients during that period to maximize performance. You could also add in something like creatine at that point. For most people, I recommend using around 5 grams per day. And then post-workout, what I'd recommend is, again, we want high protein, high carb, low fats. So you could use something, if you wanted like a sweet treat, you could use something like cereal. I've done a whole video covering this, which is on the link above. And then you want a low-fat protein as well. So again, a whey isolate, chicken, fish, something like that would work really well. What you wouldn't want would be something fatty, like, say, for example, a ribeye steak. So we want low-fat, high protein, high carb, and our body will suck all these nutrients in very quickly. The anabolic window, where people refer to, you don't have to eat within 5 minutes to put down a dumbbell, you're going to waste away. Realistically, you're actually better off probably waiting half an hour to an hour to have your post-workout meal to replenish your glycogen, start the recovery process, and fuel performance. The big thing here in particular when we're looking to build muscle and burn body fat at the same time is fueling performance whilst we're in a calorie deficit. So this is point number 3, nutrient timing. Keep your carbs around the workouts. Point number 4 as a bonus is to make sure that you stay accountable and you actually track what you're doing. So what I would suggest you use is that you track your body weight every week. Say, for example, you have a check-in day every Friday where you check your body weight as soon as you get up first thing in the morning. You check your belly button in terms of your waist circumference to see what's going on. So for example, we're not necessarily just looking here for the scales to go down. If your scale weight stays the same, but your body weight, or your waist measurement is coming down and your strength is going up, what's happening? You're building muscle and you're burning body fat, you're living the dream. And this is what all what we do within our Shred and 8 program. So we'll give you the blueprint to burn body fat, build muscle, and create that perfect environment for success. These are the key metrics we want to look at. This isn't Weight Watchers what we're doing. With a transformation, it's not about the scale, it's about composition. So getting rid of the body fat, adding the muscle mass on, and this is a foolproof way to do that. This is something we go through with all the clients on Shred and 8. It's tactically setting up your nutrition so you feel great, perform great, and you get awesome results. So I hope you guys found this video really helpful. Let me know any questions in regards to your own transformation by dropping a comment below. If you want any other information on Shred and 8, hit the link in the summary, and we look forward to seeing you and your own transformation soon.